So, guys, into a Monday night review. I'm feeling good. I just graduated from school, basically, and now I'm going on to a different era, like WWE likes to say. But I just still got to say, Monday Night Raw wasn't that good. It was a 1 out of 10 in my books. It feels like the same thing just happened. I feel like I watched the same show. Nothing was interesting with Raquel, Roxanne, and Dom. They didn't even see each other, I felt like, that night. And then we get the same thing from Seth. Making CM Punk look like a jobber, getting beat down. You know what? We're just going to start. CM Punk comes out tonight and basically says, he doesn't really acknowledge Seth Rollins, I believe. And then he basically says he's going to win Money in the Bank and everything else. And he says it might just be John Cena. And a bald fraud I call The Rock. Or something like that. And just keeps talking and everything else. But then he calls John Cena the B word. And then we have Sami Zayn coming out. And then you basically have them come out. Sami Zayn's dressed like a freaking grandpa. And then, is it just me? I'm gonna get a little taste of thought. Today's Wednesday, so I still have time to do my Thursday review. I mean, other things. But I'm kind of getting sick of the Sami Zayn gimmick. Because I don't know what's next for. I know they can do like this big Daniel Bryan accomplish this story, Cody Rhodes, Kofi Mania thing with Sami Zayn. But is it just me, or do I feel like Sami's not a nice guy? Because when I heard Matt Riddle say it was hard to work with, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that makes it seem like Sami's not a nice guy. But Sami came out here and said, I know you're trying to push around the fact that Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker did that to you and Paul Heyman. But you know that revenge is coming and you have to get back. But guess what? I didn't win my qualifier, but you can win. And me and Jay will stop Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And all you gotta do is keep your eye off the ball. That's basically it for this segment. Then there's Roxanne and Raquel and Liv. They're basically talking to Roxanne to stick out of their business because she made Liv go against Raquel. And Raquel's already mad at her. It was something like that. And then she walks away. But I have a theory with this. Raquel was yelling at Roxanne and it looked like her mad. But what if they were also, what if Roxanne was giving little Raquel an offer to betray Liv for a little offer for something? Maybe a mid-card title opportunity. I don't know how she would get it. Maybe she'll ask Finn or Dom. Maybe because she asked him or helps him or something. But then we get Liv Morgan and run into EO. And Liv says she's coming back for that title. And EO says, no. And then she says, like, not today. Not as I'm champion. And she said, Liv says, her line, watch me. Okay, I like Stephanie winning, but I feel like we gotta do some Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile. I have a thing for Ivy Nile, but they do this big like suplex, and then they are on the top rope and they get hit. Ivy Nile almost takes the win with this roll up. Well, it wasn't really a roll up, but you see Raquel kicks out. So, but then they were also Raquel pins Ivy Nile to take the win. But they were doing a lot of hitting in the corner with their knees. But that's all I have to say about this. I'm not going to spend too much time because this was an awful episode of Raw. I might just title this Rant because it was a rant how awful this episode of Raw was. It was bad. You have Sheamus on the show. That doesn't matter in 2025. Come on. You even got your love triangle started with Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez and Dom. Like, you got the freaking tag team championships. Well, I thought that was good. But it wasn't great. It wasn't awesome. I can't name one thing on the show that was great or awesome. I can't even name what was great and awesome in a few wrestling shows. Actually, I don't even think that was good. I think that was just boring. And I wouldn't say bad. I think the tag teams was okay. But we'll get into that because this is actually a disaster. Because I saw someone say this, but they're right. FR. It's for real right. WWE, this is a corporate era of professional wrestling, and someone backstage needs to stop it. Because maybe y'all need to get some people for the busted open, like Mark Henry. Maybe they can get you in the face. Bubba Ray. To get them in your face and make y'all snap out of this corporate era. Because it sucks. And I'm just going to keep it a buck. It sucks. And I feel like on Raw, their women's division is better than their men's division. Like, come on, man. You gotta do something about this. And y'all want to keep bringing shows to try to compete with AEW? Well, how about you make a good show to compete with AEW? I'm sick of this, man. I'm sorry, but it's kind of it's not just the corporate, it's lazy. Triple H is lazy. And they need to make more emotion, like the Busted Open podcast. They said when Shawn Michaels said "I love you" to Ric Flair and kicked him in the face and run, that was emotion. When was the last time you had emotion? Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns? It's the new year. That was last year, WrestleMania. Took the easy way out with Cody finishing story. Come on. First, I thought this was a little alliance with Paul Heyman and AJ Styles. But I guess not. Paul Heyman is like, you're in the Money in the Bank competition. And, like, maybe we should, like, worry about dominant Intercontinental title because you leave that up to Seth Rollins, which this faction is lazy, has no drama to it, like the Bloodline had. But then we get into Rusev, and they basically say Rusev says he wants it back. He wants to break him. He wants everything else, and he brings up the history. This is lazy. Bring Lana back to make him interesting. Let him bite Sheamus. Let him get some gold. Make him like he was. Because I don't want to say Vince McMahon was better than booking talent than Triple H. Actually, I don't even think it's Triple H. I think it's TKO. And then we get Sheamus. Basically says, well, he's basically greeting the Alpha Academy. But guys, on my K Wrestling thoughts, you're probably wondering how I feel about R-Truth getting released. Yo, you could have just had John Cena be his last opponent. That would have been the best thing. But you made it against JC Mateo. JC Mateo, it would actually been good if he made it John Cena, his childhood hero. But this doesn't even make no sense at this point. Like, it's. I'll, should I save that? No, I'm going to say it now. I was going to say all my thoughts, but now I'm going to say it now. How do you let R-Truth go, but you don't let go Akira Tozawa? Huh? The only way I can see you letting R-Truth go and not Akira Tozawa, if it was between R-Truth and Akira Tozawa, and R-Truth said, I can go, because he wants to see Akira Tozawa shine. But even though he's not shining anyways, WWE doesn't care about him. And even Carlito, maybe they could have freaking fired Maxine Dupree, if that's her name. Yeah, Maxine Dupree. But they need more women on the roster, so maybe not Maxine Dupree. Maybe Otis. Maybe it's someone else I'm missing that y'all can leave in the comments. But yeah, I'm really sad that R-Truth is gone. Maxine and Natalia's there. Like, go in the mid-card division. Natalia, go make the mid-card division more powerful. Come on. And then Sheamus basically says he knows the past. He knows the history of him or something. And he's going to beat him. And then we get this stare down. And also, guys, I did predict this. I predicted this not on a channel, but I was like thinking to myself just randomly because I saw Santi's app. Or was it Denise? I think it was Denise saying, like, who could be the next? Who can fight at Evolution? And I said, Rhea and Stephanie back here. So I would like to take this prop. Because I've been predicting a lot of stuff. I predicted that Braun Breaker was going to team up with Seth Rollins in that new faction. And that my reasoning is good for Vakir. Because I knew Rhea Ripley had to be on the show. But I don't know who it would be. Well, it's not official that they're fighting. It was just a stare down. They're teasing a little bit. Then we get the Viking Raiders versus the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day. And I'm happy who won Judgment Day. They knew that was on commentary. But for a big guy, what's his name? Ivar. He can do some better moves than Eric, I feel like. But they had some big spots in this match. And one of them, I'm just going to go through some of the spots they had. Because I don't feel like really talking about this. They really don't care about JD McDonough. Because JD McDonough goes out for Ivar. Ivar flips JD McDonough off. And this is kind of the same spot. He says he's getting PTSD for what happened to him last time. They don't care about JD McDonough. But they don't care about him. He looked like he broke his legs. Because how does Eric carry Ivar like this and then flips him on there? Dang. It would have been worse for Finn Balor because I feel like Finn Balor's skinnier. But then Ivar tries to scare the New Day, makes Xavier fall out of his chair. And then tricks him. Then New Day get mad. They're getting there. And then they're just yapping their mouths off. And then I forget her name, but I know her. She ejects them from the match. And then then the Judgment Day, I think, hits them out of nowhere and everything else. And then Finn goes for the corner of grass. But then Ivar goes out the way, and Ivar, I think Finn Balor was running at Ivar, because Ivar was in the corner, and Ivar did like the Jack's thing. Now Ivar's going to the top rope. Then we get Roxanne Perez, and then you get JD McDonough when the rep's distracted by Roxanne, pull his beard because it's that long. Finn capitalized, hits him with that corner grass, and now we get new feuds, and that's a 1, 2, 3. And I think What was that faction that just came? I forget what it was, but I feel like they're building. I feel like they're building for tactic. Oh, American Made. Where was it done? I forget, but I feel like it was a new tag team. Oh yeah, Bronson and Braun Breaker. But then we get the Grayson Waller and New Day. But I feel like the New Day and Grayson Waller, Grayson Waller might be doing some other things while Grayson doing some other things. It's gonna get interesting. But guess what? In a few months, when it gets a little boring with the fans, that whatever thinks they can't fix it because TKO they always gotta get rid of someone. So, well, I know they have to, but I feel like they can. They're just gonna release them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And WWE does it, huh? Huh? TKO like corporate, right? Okay, it's corporate era. That's TKO era. I feel like Triple H doesn't have room to speak around here, huh? The audience, they don't even care what the audience think. They're just moving around like the audience don't matter. Like they didn't make one of the greatest endings of WrestleMania of all time with Cody Rhodes. Because you was going to see a washed up Rock that versus Roman Reigns. It would have been good with the interferences. But I'm still going to blame the fans about this. We're probably never going to get The Rock, Roman Reigns. The Rock can't even show up for John Cena. What you think he's going to show up for Roman Reigns? Actually, that don't even make sense because Roman Reigns is his cousin. But I don't think we get The Rock because he can't even show up. So I always blame the audience for this. Y'all wanted Cody, so y'all got Cody. So we're probably never gonna get The Rock because they almost gave it to us, but we said nope. Actually, I didn't say that. They said that, and I always said at that moment I was gonna keep y'all accountable for what y'all did. Whew. I'm definitely gonna have a rant in my title. But then the New Day gets fronted by American Made, and then the New Day is basically like, the American Made's like, we had an alliance. New Day said, just got involved. And then Chad Gable and the American Made gets mad, and Chad Gable leaves them a messenger or something like that. One of my favorite then we got one of my favorite women's wrestlers, Lyra Valkyria, and this is just me. I like Lyra's accent. She has a good gimmick going on, but I feel like she has to lose to. We're gonna be doing predictions on this channel, but I feel like she has to lose to Becky. But then she basically calls out Becky, and Becky interrupts her when she's about to speak again. Where she was like, "Are you scared, Becky?" And Becky comes out, walks to the ring, acts pinned up to the ropes like you're not the veteran in this freaking storyline. And Becky's just keeps going off, and she says, "You're gonna have to raise my hand, and I think you're jealous of me and everything." Delilah says, "You hurt me, Becky. You hurt me." And then Becky says, "I didn't hurt you. Maybe physically, but I didn't hurt you. Maybe that's the only excuse that you have to say I hurt you." And I forget what the excuse was, but I believe Becky left the ring, and then Lyra says, "Come on," and then Becky does the old thing, and then goes up, and then come back down, and it has the mic say, "I'm not fighting in Tulsa," or something, wherever there was. Lyra runs up the ramp, and then fights Becky, and she says she was fighting in Tulsa or something like that, but she did. But Pat McAfee did clear this up and say, now she got to, because she getting her butt kicked by Lyra. Now we got security, and then Lyra trying to get away from security. It seems like, Jessica Carr got her hair pulled by Becky. And then we got Liv. She knows exactly what Finn's trying to do. Finn, I think he gets it. And but she gets it, when he says, you know, you can trust Dom. And she says, it's not Dom that I don't trust. And then it's you that I don't trust. And then Finn comes with a plan that maybe Roxanne can be out in there in her corner. And then Liv says, nope, I'll be out there. And then says, Dom comes up to Finn and says, you got it. And he apologizes. And then Finn said, it's all right. Just focus. And then when basically Karen Haas says, can you give us a minute to that kind of look like Samantha Irvin's. And then Sammy's like, what the heck is your problem? And they're basically doing this whole convincing thing that Karen Haas thinks Sammy should turn heel. Next. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker vs. Simmons and Jey Uso. Another only doing cool spots. Bronson Reed. I thought Sami Zayn wasn't going to move in time, but he did. And Bronson Reed goes crashing. Jey Uso, it's a frog split. A splash. Seth Rollins makes it a disqualification. And then Seth is getting beat up by Sammy now. Now Sammy's putting the beats on Seth freaking Rollins. Not the whole brawl. And then Bronson Reed's looking for a tsunami on Sami Zayn. On the table. We're actually on the turnbuckle, so the table. But Seth Rollins hits Braun Breaker in the back. And then Braun Breaker is mad and he wants to get him. And Seth is like grabbing his beard and says, we know where he's going to be tonight. And Sammy and CM Punk and Jay look like they have the best of them. And this is the part where he was grabbing his chin and everything. Bronson Reed's mad. This faction elevated Bronson Reed, but I feel like he doesn't fit. Then we get Kairi Sane and Raquel, which is a lazy match. Come on, it seems like this is a match just to be on the show. Liv tries to get involved. Never cool spots. Liv tries to get involved, but then we get Io. At first I was like, why is Io helping Kairi? I was like, because Liv just was talking to her backstage. Wait, no, because they have history. And then this could be a good tag team match. But then we get Raquel grabbing Io's hair. And then Raquel, I feel like that actually hurt when then Kairi kicked her in the head. And then hit that insane elbow. Liv's head was cracked open. And then goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Winning streak. But I feel like this makes Raquel look a little bad. Okay. She's not buried, but now we get Io hugging, and then we get Liv talking to Raquel. Raquel looks shocked about how Io busted her head open. So they're together. Tag team match. But then we get Jey Uso sitting there for no reason. And then we get the ring general Gunther sits down now. And then he says, I've been sad since that World Heavyweight Championship was gone from my hands. I didn't know what I was going to do. But now since you have a tag team match at Saturday Night's Main Event, he literally said Saturday Night's Main Event. Come on. I know you wrestlers make mistakes. I would have made a mistake too. But he literally said Saturday Night's Main Event. Gunther's like, you'll be dizzy and doing other stuff and everything else. Finally main event time. When I'm recording this, it looks like it's going by fast. But cool spots moment. CM Punk trying to rip off El Grande Americano does this. El Grande Americano does this backflip moonsault, and CM Punk looks like he's getting ready for a GTS. And I have a little opinion who won this, but I think he hits it, but Breaker yanks his leg. But it looked like rap should have come to 3. Then they're basically stopping him out. But then, oh yeah, Gunther did say Jay was going to help him, and Jay was going to help him. And Sammy, I feel like they was trying to make that be a little feud, but or some drama, but it didn't happen. Sammy and they're all going at it. AJ Styles dumps on him and everything else. And then what happens? Grande Americana has AJ with his we don't know if the play was in. I don't think I never saw him put it in. And then 1, 2, 3. Why do you have a Grande Americano winning? I'm gonna put this on my thoughts because I don't feel like this video being that long to do this. I feel like the women's is more stacked. Because then we get CM Punk going at each other. And why does WWE like making people lose on their birthdays? On their hometown. Come on. We just saw it with Randy Orton and Logan Paul against Seth Rollins. But then they're just mugging them all, destroying them all, beating them all. Sammy's trying to get on them. But it just doesn't work. But I think Roman's coming back soon. Pounding on him. Kern stomps. After Kern stops. Sammy. I like this vest that Seth was wearing. But they need some drama in the group. Jay gets in there, gets him with a kick. I try to help Sammy and Punk. And then he hits Braun Breaker with 1, 2. But this video don't need to be an hour long to me saying my things. But Seth chokes him up, and then I don't know. They really don't like selling because how does Braun Breaker get up so quick after that? Maybe he just didn't get all of it. He's choking him. Braun Breaker hits him with a spear. Then gracias. And Seth hits Jey Uso with a curtain style. Tsunami. I thought Roman was going to come back because this was his cousin and brutally destroyed. And see ya. Deuces, peace. That's all for today. See ya. Please help me in the comments for the graduations. But see ya, peace. Have a good day.